When you're doing great, they think you're doing no good. When you think you're doing no good, they all think you're doing great. Hey, don't do this. You're clapping at my failures. Either you can use it to make yourself stronger and better, or you can sit and cry. If you can walk alone, you walk alone. But the important thing is, whatever the hell you're doing, there's only one goal. Failure is bad enough. Fear is adding spice to it, isn't it? Success happens to you not because you desire it.
Is there a time in life when you haven't failed? How have you dealt with failures each time? If you get more frustrated each time you fail, how do you deal with it? Listen to Sadhdguru as he explains how he dealt with failure in his life.
Which is that when we're on this journey of life, we tend to set a lot of short-term goals, and when we don't achieve them, we don't know how to deal with failure. And that is something we all deal with a lot at U of T in specific, but but in that moment when we can look back and say, yeah, this is fine, but in that moment, how do we hold our ground and how do we learn to see the bigger picture?
All I knew was somehow the known situations was kind of containing me. I just wanted to go somewhere. The moment I got a bicycle, I cycled across South India. And I got a motorcycle, I crisscrossed India many times. And I was stopped at the national borders. So I decided the only thing is I do some business, make some money and ride across the world. Where? I don't know, simply want to ride. So I thought I'll get into business. So I got in, became far more successful than most people would imagine in a short span of time. So one to another, I started half a dozen businesses, became very successful, everything. Then everybody was clapping their hands except me. They were all clapping their hands because I was making more money than other people. I was getting little like that because I got into this business because I wanted to ride away. But business after business, I put one finger, now both my hands were stuck in it, making money and everybody clapping hands, but I was not clapping hands. I did not think it's a great thing. I think it's those 5 years which people think are very successful for me were the 5 years when I did not do what I really wanted to do. But everybody else thought I was doing great. That's how world is, you must understand. When you're doing great, they think you're doing no good. When you think you're doing no good, they all think you're doing great. So you must know whose interest is in their hearts. So then one afternoon, it so happened I burst into an ecstatic state for no reason, every cell in my body bursting. And then I look at myself, what is happening to me? Am I going off my rocker? Am I losing it? What's happening? But I know I don't want to lose what's happening because it's too fantastic. If I simply sit here, I'm dripping ecstasy. Then I pay attention to it, what is it that's happening to me? Then I realize, if I don't mess with my mind, I'm just ecstatic. Even now, just see, it's just the cerebral activity that you're not able to deal with, isn't it, which causes so much all this. If you know how to distance yourself from that, this life will burst into ecstatic state. When you were a 5-year-old girl, simply jumping around, simply because there was not much cerebral activity. Simply life was a joy just to be alive, isn't it? Even now you will become like that if you know when to keep your cerebral activity on, when to keep it off. When I realized, if you don't do anything, you will become ecstatic, Then I thought, what's the big deal? I will make the whole world ecstatic. On that day, the world's population was 5.6 billion people. Then I sat down and made an elaborate plan. How I will make the world ecstatic? Because it's so simple. If they don't do anything, they will be ecstatic. I didn't think people are so invested in misery that it'll take a lot of coaxing. Then I made a plan, in 2.5 years' time, I can very easily make the world ecstatic. I thought I will execute this plan. Because you are a consulting business person, I'm telling you. I had everything clear-cut, because this is this simple. If I talk to them, why will they deny ecstasy? They will all go for it. 38 years. Don't do this. You're clapping at my failures. So people today say we have touched somewhere between 800 to 900 million people. But that's not my idea of the world. Population has grown to 7.6 billion people. Now I know I will die a failure, but I'm a blissful failure, okay? Because first is, I learned how to fix myself before I do anything in the world. If you fix yourself, will you fix yourself in a pleasant way or unpleasant way? Pleasant way. So if you become joyful by your own nature, then you do something in the world.
During another talk, Sadhguru talks about how failures are goals that you set out to achieve and not the purpose of your life. Sadhguru explains with a beautiful story what is the purpose of life and how every opportunity must be used to obtain that purpose. Have a look.
For one who is seeing this life as a stepping stone for a larger possibility, for him there is no failure. For one who is looking at the simple events of this life itself as the goal of life, for him there is failure and success. If you're just seeing this life as a stepping stone for a larger possibility, if you have a good deal, you use that for your well-being. If you have a bad deal, you use that for your well-being. So it doesn't matter what the hell happens. It doesn't matter what the hell happens with your life. If you are seeing this life only as a stepping stone for a larger possibility, then whatever the situation, it is beautiful and very useful. Very, very useful. Once there was a farmer like you who was tired of various natural factors ruling the quality of his crop. So one day he called Shiva. It was a wild card entry. So he found excess. And Shiva said, what? He said, I'm tired of all the natural nonsense happening. Obviously, you're not a farmer. I know from history that you were a hunter. You were not a farmer. You don't know what it means to farm. Why don't you leave the nature in my hands? I'm a farmer. I know when it should rain, I know when there should be sunlight, I know when there should be wind, I know everything. Shiva was one of those moods, he said, okay, nature is in your hands. Then the farmer planted his crop, planted a maize crop, rain. poke the lane and see, okay, it's soaked up to 6 inches, stop. Then plow it, plant it, wait for 2 days. Rain. Sunlight. Today I'm working in the field, cloud. So everything just happened the way he wanted. A beautiful maize crop came. He was overjoyed, see. It's good. Nature should be in farmers' hands. And then when the time to harvest came, he wanted to see, because none of the birds were coming, he was surprised. Because that also he said, no birds, no birds. Then he went and opened and saw nice big everything, but you opened and saw no grain inside. Then he thought, what the hell is this? What did I do wrong? Then he couldn't figure out, because rain, water, sunshine, everything he managed properly. Then again he went back to Shiva. But he was in this condition. He waited for many years for him to open his eyes. By the time these many years, the fields and the family, everything went to… But he wanted to know the answer. What went wrong? He's farmer first. Then when Shiva opened his eyes, he asked, I did everything right, but there is no grain. Did you sabotage my crop? Shiva said, I've been watching. You were in charge, so I didn't want to interfere. The rain was great, the sunshine was great, everything was fine, but you stopped all the winds. I used to always send fierce winds which would threaten your crop. But because the plants felt pushed and threatened, they put their roots deeper into the earth. So grain happened. Now you have great maize crop. No maize? So, various situations in your life, either you can use it to make yourself stronger and better, or you can sit and cry. This is the choice you have. Everything, it doesn't matter what happens. The most horrific event happened in your life, that also can be used for your growth and your well-being, if you have clearly seen the small events of your life. When I say small events, I mean your business, your marriage, your children, all those big things. All these things are just a stepping stone. Your life is about mukti. Your marriage, your business, your social life, these are all just means to get there. Either you go with it or you go without it. But whether you are a sannyasi or you're in the samsara, your only goal is mukti. If you can walk alone, you walk alone. You want party going with you, you walk with the party. That's your choice. You want to get there quick, you walk alone. You want to go there having picnic on the way slowly, you go with people. Choice is yours. But the important thing is, whatever the hell you're doing, there's only one goal. So if you have set this up, then all the events of life, everything is beneficial. So, the fear of failure. Failure is bad enough. Fear is adding spice to it, isn't it? Success happens to you not because you desire it, because you earn it. Everybody desires it. It comes only if you're capable of it.
Your failure might be somebody else's success. When you look at the big picture, every failure or success has many things to teach us. Approaching every situation with a positive mindset gets you closer to your life's ultimate goal. Click on the video shown above to see more from us. What would you like to see in the next video? Share your thoughts and how you deal with failures in the comments section. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching.